Thursday the 25th of July. Can't believe I've been 35 for 10 days. That's weird. But either way, so today, I've just checked the temperature. Today is going to be a scorcher. It's going to be at least a maximum of 38, and it's currently 32 degrees. 32. Now, don't get me wrong, I love the hot weather. If I could afford it, I would go on holiday and I'd spend money going abroad for temperatures just like this. I really, really would. So for me, having a bit of hot weather like this is great because it means I don't have to go on holiday. I don't have to spend any money. It's all good. However, because I'm not on any kind of leave at all until the end of August, it means I have to work my ass off every single day, as most of us do anyway. However, I, as you know, am a bus driver. And unfortunately, across London and in fact across the country, public transport isn't very forgiving when it comes to temperatures. Now, I've done several videos in the past. I've done video even last year. You can scroll back. You know, I'm not going to do that. Click on the link there or whatever. I'm not going to do that. If you want to find it, you know, you can literally scroll through it and find it yourself. But the temperatures in London on London transport is absolutely shocking. Now, air conditioning, I've been told by my controllers and I've been told by the engineers that air conditioning on a bus is a luxury. Well, my argument to that is if it's installed on the bus, it's not a luxury, it's a feature that needs to work. So what can we do as bus drivers and even as passengers to, you know, combat this problem of heat on public transport? Well, the first thing we can do is, as bus drivers, now pay attention bus drivers, because a lot of this can be remedied very, very easily. The first thing we can do as bus drivers is when you take the bus out of the garage in the morning, if you're one of those early starters to take a bus out the yard, when you do your pre-service check, when you test everything in the bus to make sure it's roadworthy, click on the air conditioning. Let it flow through the system, okay? Let the bus tick over for at least 10 minutes with the air conditioning on. Let it blow through. Because the second you leave that depot and you run out of service to wherever it is you run and you forget to turn that air conditioning on, all it's going to do when you do want it to run is blow through hot air, which isn't going to be good for you or anyone else. Right, that being said, if you do turn the air conditioning on and you find that after your dead run and 1 or 2 services, trips in service, if your air conditioning is not working, what you are then obligated to do or obliged to do is tell your controller, in turn tell the engineers that your air conditioning is not working. And for the love of God, follow procedure and isolate the bus, because that's exactly what they'll tell you to do. Okay, so we need to, as bus drivers, cover ourselves as much as possible and try and get the AC working to the best of our limited ability and knowledge. Okay, because we don't want to bake. Passengers, what can you do? First things first is, you don't know which bus is going to have working air conditioning or not, but it's a bit of a giveaway. If your bus is approaching you and your driver has the window open on his side, there's a good chance it's going to be a hot bus, because if the air conditioning is working, we're going to be keeping that window closed. So, you know, just remember that if you're coming up to a bus stop and your bus is approaching, have a quick look at the driver's offside window. If the window's closed, the AC is probably working. It's a pro tip for you. Secondly, take bottled water. Go to the shop, you can get 2 litres of water for about £1.10. It's relatively cheap. Try not to get loads of sugary drinks, because they're not going to hydrate you. They're not going to keep you hydrated either, although they may be tasty and they say like hydration boost and all this wonderful stuff. You know, water is always the best thing for you. And I encourage anyone to take water on public transport, especially parents with young kids. About 2 weeks ago, excuse the noise, I've got this to contend with. About 2 weeks ago, I was at a changeover point waiting for my driver. I was there a little bit early and I needed to go to the shop. There was a shop right by the bus stop at the Nag's Head. So I went and got myself a bottle of water. On the bus were 2 parents and a buggy. I only saw 1 child in the buggy. I didn't see 2. But I actually said to them, would you like me to get you some water? It was a really hot day. They said, yes, please. So I bought them some water. Parents, please, if you're going out and about, you know it's a hot day, take a multi-pack of H2O. Again, it's relatively cheap and it could end up saving yours or your child's life. Staying hydrated is an absolute must on public transport. And it's not just buses, it's also underground. You know, if you use the subway, it gets extremely hot and stuffy down there. Don't take any chances. Please take some water with you, even if it gets warm. I mean, yesterday I had a large bottle of water in my bus, and over time it went from icy cold to relatively warm and disgusting, but it's all I had, you see. And unfortunately, I'd rather drink slightly warm water than have no water. You see, it is still going to keep you hydrated. Now, bus drivers, I've got another one for you. If your AC is not working, okay, if you've done everything you can to try and get the AC working and it isn't, and you have reported it, what else can you then do? Because by now I'm assuming that you've had about 2 or 3 complaints from passengers saying, driver, it's too hot. Driver, can you put the air conditioning on? And you're probably saying, look, it's on, it's not working. I'm really sorry for the heat. There's nothing I can do. Have you opened the window? Blah, blah, blah. You know, what can we do as bus drivers in this situation? Well, as you've already isolated it, and as you've already reported it, as you've already done your pre-service check, and you've done 1.5, maybe 2 trips already, and you're still halfway through your first or second half, this is what you do, is you call your control and you tell them the truth. You tell them you have had multiple complaints about the heat. It is very, very uncomfortable and hot. The air conditioning is not working. It is blowing through warm air and you are feeling extremely, extremely hot and uncomfortable, to the point where you may or may not be feeling drowsy. But don't lie about it. That's the worst thing you can do. Tell them the truth. If you're feeling uncomfortable, you know, you have to tell them. Then what you do is you don't go past that magic point on your route. For me, it's Camberwell Green. Don't go past the green. If that bus gets hot enough where you wouldn't transport livestock, why would you want to transport human beings in it? It's not safe. I would rather stop my bus at Camberwell Green or run it into the garage and get a replacement that actually works with air conditioning than continue with the bus. Even though I may be fine, the last thing I want to do is put the safety of my passengers at risk just from the heat of the bus. Okay, so as a PCV holder, as a license holder, my first consideration at all times, and any bus driver should know this, it's the comfort and safety of my passengers. And if the air conditioning in your bus is not working, you're then putting the comfort and safety of your passengers at risk. So do you really want to take the risk by not reporting it? Do you really want to take the risk and put the safety of your passengers and comfort of your passengers at risk by not trying to get a replacement bus with working air conditioning? The mileage, if it's a mechanical issue, which it will be lost and it won't be your fault. Okay, so don't be afraid to do the right thing. If you're afraid of being pulled into the office for loss of mileage, tell them the truth. The bus was too hot to transport humans in. You've had multiple complaints. You were, as a driver, uncomfortable. Okay, so just be aware that there are certain things we as bus drivers can do to try and make it as bearable as possible for passengers. And passengers, please be aware that there are things you can do. Another thing a passenger, what you can do is, if you've already paid your bus fare and you're already on the bus, and the bus you're on you feel is too hot for you and or your child, what you can do is approach the driver, be as nice as you can, say, look driver, I've been on this bus for about 5 minutes. I've paid my fare. It's too hot on this bus. Could I please have a transfer ticket so I can get onto a different bus? Because that bus may be cooler. It may not be cooler, to be fair, but you know, a little bit of patience, a little bit of manners, and asking the driver something like that, we will be willing to help, especially if you are nice, you see. Now, on the flip side of that, if you are an arsehole passenger and you come to the driver and say, driver, give me a ticket, I'm too hot, you'll probably be told no, because we're not terminating the bus there. We don't have to give it to you. It's out of courtesy we give it to you, and if you're nice to us, there's a good chance that you'll get what you want. So, you know, you can always change buses, basically. It's the long and short of it. I mean, if you paid your fare and you've got the bus hopper active on your Oyster card, you know, then obviously you don't have to have a transfer ticket. If you've got bus hopper active, you can just jump on another bus for free within an hour anyway. And then there you go, there's your transfer. But, you know, like I said, there are ways to combat the heat. And for the love of God, before I finish this video, please, everyone, before you go outside, put on some sunscreen, whether it's the dry spray stuff that's only factor 15 if you take that sort of punishment like me, or if it's factor 20, factor 30, factor 50, put something on. This is absolutely important, because the last thing you want to do is end up with sunburn, or after long-term exposure because you think you're hardcore, finding a mole which is slightly misshapen and hurts. You know, so sunscreen is a must. There's no ifs, no buts, no maybes. Always use sun protection. All right, it's important. It's almost as important as always using the condom. You know, protection is protection. So, by the way, for the last thing before I go, please, everyone, pop into your local pound shop and buy some antiperspirant. I'm telling you, because if you're on a bus and you're standing up or sitting down, no one wants to sit next to you, and I'm pretty sure you don't want to sit next to someone who smells. Buy some damn deodorant. Other than that, I hope we're all dealing with the heat. Happy Thursday. Take it easy.